We have a because we have a quorum. So, in light of that, let us call the meeting to order. It is 5:03 p.m. The date is Tuesday, October the 14th, and I'm just trying to get my camera right, and we will call the roll. Whoops, sorry. Board Member Darm,
Present.
Board Member Lewis Walls, Miss Anita, we see your name. We know you're there somewhere.
She is muted.
Oh. Can we unmute her? Or does she have to unmute herself?
I am checking, sir. It appears that she would have to unmute herself.
I hope she hears us.
I
Miss-
hope so too.
It may be a problem. I heard you guys the whole time, and it took me a minute to unmute for some reason.
Okay. I'll come back to her. Board Member Gay,
Present.
Board Member Harper,
Present.
Chairperson Gray, present. Board Member Walls, are you
Can you hear
present?
me now?
We can hear you now.
Okay.
We have all of our board members present. We have a quorum.
Yes.
Is there can we get a motion? Remember, in order to make a motion or second, we are going to need to see you on camera. I believe that is the rule, and Miss Barbara's going to make sure we follow all the rules to protect us. So is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
It has been moved by Board Member Gay and seconded by
I second.
Board Member Harper. All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. I want to welcome everyone to this meeting. I hope and trust and pray that you had a good summer. I'm hoping that everybody had a chance to have some kind of vacation. I know it has been very taxing in our city, and particularly to Board Member Harper. We've continued to be in prayer and thought for you. We understand that you were personally affected by the tornado. You and I had an opportunity to talk briefly, and it is our hope as a board, and I know that all of the staff continue to pray for you. And we've already told you, all of us, if there's anything that we can do to assist you individually or collectively, please do not
Oh, Reverend Gray, you have muted.
You mean I did that whole speech muted?
No, just at the end. Just at the end. I don't know what
man.
happened.
I was getting ready to say, wait a minute. I was on a roll too. I didn't write it down or anything. I was on a roll. But Board Member Harper, as I told you, real seriously, anything that we can do to assist you and your family, please let us know. We are a board, but we've been in this long enough. I mean, I believe that one person's problem is another person's problem. That's just who I am. And I think that most of us on this call feel the same way. So I'm glad you're on the call, and I hope things are moving forward for you and your family.
I appreciate that.
All right, let us approve the minutes of we have to approve the minutes of the special training of June 2nd, approve the minutes of June 17th, approve the minutes of July 8th, and approve the minutes of August 12th. Barbara, can we do all these at once?
Yes, I believe, the special training that was just for informational purposes. I don't believe that was a public meeting, but you wanted to keep track of that. Yeah, and if anyone has an objection to that, they can raise it in the discussion if they want to pull one of these out.
Okay, then the chair will accept a motion to approve June 2nd minutes as information, and June 17th, July 8th, and August 12th, the regular approval of our minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
I move that we approve.
All right, was that Ms. Lewis Walls?
Yes.
It has been moved by Ms. Lewis Walls and seconded by, seconded by, but James, you know, I pronounced your name for 3 years. It's Darm?
Yeah.
Dom, okay, I guess I didn't. Okay, shoot, I was doing pretty good in 3 years. I thought I was wrong. It's been probably moved in second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, ayes have it, motion carries. My report, before I introduce, I've had the pleasure of meeting the new City Justice Center Commissioner, really on different occasions. First in the county, when he was doing superb work out there in his capacity, and recently in his new capacity. But I do want to put on record that I will be resigning from the board effective November 16th. I've been blessed to and I can't say too much, so I'm gonna be a little vague. There's an opportunity that has presented itself, a marvelous opportunity, one in which I believe will still benefit the work that we do as an oversight board. It still falls in line, obviously, with my ministry, my call to ministry, my call to criminal justice reform and prison reform. And I'm really looking forward to the next chapter. I'm not resigning for any negative reason at all. So I want to make that clear. I'm not running from the board. I've thoroughly enjoyed the work that we have done together as a board. I've enjoyed working with the staff, seeing the growth and the progress from day one. I think this board has always worked to move forward. It has worked to maintain its integrity and to follow the ordinance that created the board. We've had some, as my grandmother would say, we've had some hills and some valleys, but we've been able to deal with all of them in a way that I believe has shown a great deal of responsibility and accountability and transparency, and most of all, integrity. Integrity to what we have been asked to do and what we have signed on to do. The reason that I'm waiting until November 16th, I want to give the administration a chance to fill the vacancies. And so I didn't want to resign immediately and cause a problem with not having a quorum. But I wanted to make sure that if prior to the 16th, we are in need of a quorum, then I could be available to meet with the board. I respect and appreciate all of you and the work that you've committed yourselves to. I know with the current board members, I know that. Listen, I know the board is in good hands. Just let me say that. I know there's no question in my mind that the board will remain in good and qualified and competent and committed hands. And with the staff, I've said from day one, all of you know this, I've said it from day one, a remarkable group of people. I've said it from day one. I say it now and I will continue to say it. I am extremely proud to have had the opportunity to work with all of you. And so in saying all this, I won't say I won't be doing any other long speeches as I leave the board. I would like to finalize that by saying that I will be speaking to our commissioner to ask that at the next meeting, that there will be an agenda item at the next meeting where the board will have an opportunity to vote on its officers. So that we can make sure we publicize that and put that on there. And hopefully by then, hopefully we'll have a full complement of board members. But at least it'll be on the agenda. Everybody will be on notice. And I'm hoping that the administration, knowing that my time will be up on the 16th, I know that they are currently, and I know that there's going to be a report on that. I already see that on there now. I guess I'm moving into that, aren't I? That they are looking at filling these vacancies. They're looking at some of the old applications and new applications. So I'm hoping that once they are notified of my resignation as of the 16th of November, that they may be able to move with a little bit quicker in making sure that those board positions are filled. And so I wanted to share that with everyone today. And as I said, I wanted to be clear too, that my leaving is for no other reason but that a tremendous opportunity presented itself. It allows me to do some more work, allows me to stay active in this work. And so I'm looking forward to it. So I wanted to say that, and now I have to find I know James, you can't go behind me either. You have to stay. All right, let me properly, our commissioner sent me a bio, and when I looked at it, I said, well, it's not his whole bio, but now I'm going back into my email to find it. So y'all just give me a second so that I can properly introduce our new commissioner for corrections. Let me do this. Let me say this, and then I'm going to ask the commissioner if she would read the bio that was sent to me. I'm looking for it, and I don't want to hold us up looking for it. And so I'm going to ask our commissioner if she would do the honors. Wait a minute. Looks like I might have found it. Gosh, look at me. Look at me. Okay, I do have it. And so we are very honored to have with us in his first meeting with the Oversight Board. I think some of you may remember it took us a moment to try to get other people to come to meet with the Oversight Board, and this commissioner has decided as one of his first duties and first responsibilities to meet with the Oversight Board, and so that definitely bodes in his favor. Commissioner Hayward comes from a role as Deputy Director of Security at the St. Louis County Justice Services. He brings 32 years of correctional experience. He started out as a correctional officer. and worked his way up to eventually overseeing the daily operations of the St. Louis County Justice Center and being responsible for the safety and the health of the detainees. The commissioner fills this position left vacant. Most of you may recall on August 15th by former interim commissioner Doug Burrows, who served in the city of St. Louis, as I indicated, as the interim commissioner for corrections. And Doug began a very serious effort in improving conditions at the CJC. Doug was accessible. He was compassionate. He was capable and competent. He was all of the things that was needed at the Justice Center. And since Commissioner Haywood has come in, and I think it's important to note that Commissioner Haywood and former Commissioner Burrows worked together at the St. Louis County Justice Center. And so they knew each other's work. They worked hand in hand together. And so to me, it wasn't a huge surprise when Commissioner Hayward was appointed based upon what I know of him from the county. In his own words, Commissioner Hayward has said, making the CJC a place where detainees are safe and can begin working towards a better future as contributing members of society is his top priority. I'm sorry, Doug said this. I'm sorry. This was Commissioner Burrows. And he said he's known Nate Hayward for years, and that he knows that Commissioner Hayward shares the same commitment. And so these are words echoed by Mayor Spencer. These are words that have been echoed by former Commissioner Burrows. And from what I know of our new commissioner, I believe this to be true. And I'd like the board now to give your attention to the new commissioner of the CJC, Commissioner Nate Hayward.
Right. Thank you, Reverend Gray. Thanks for that great introduction. First, I want to thank the commissioner for inviting me to you guys' meeting. And like you said, Reverend Gray, I met you back in the county. You know, I remember when you came and asked to meet with us, and you let us know your concerns at the city jail, because at the county we was open. You know, I had all the reverends from the county would come to my office. I always had an open door, you know, whenever it was issues at the county, and that's how I kept a lot of problems solved at St. Louis County. We always had open door because I wanted to make sure we get everything done correct. I never had anything to hide because we always try to do our best out there. So I'm excited to be here at CJC. I met with my leadership staff last week, and I let them know what we expect and how we moving forward. I've met with the commissioner several times since I've been here, and she let me know what she expects. You know, so I'm like I said, I'm happy to be here. Just to give you guys a little background on myself, I'm originally from New Jersey. I wound up getting a football scholarship out here, and out of here in Missouri. And you know, after I graduated from college, I moved back home to New Jersey, and I was working at the Ford plant as a supervisor of security at the Ford plant in Edison, New Jersey. And when the plant shut down, I wound up coming back to St. Louis, and I was going through Illinois State Trooper, and they put a freeze on the hiring after we went through 1,500 applicants, and so I wound up being the top 75, and they put a freeze on it. So I had a couple of college buddies that was working at St. Louis County Corrections, and they asked me to apply for St. Louis County back in '93. I said, man, I don't want to be a correction officer. I don't want to do that. And 32 years later, I wound up retiring from St. Louis County. St. Louis County was a great opportunity for me. We did a lot at St. Louis County. I always tell people St. Louis County was good to me. Both of my children went through college. My son is a doctor, and my daughter is back in school now getting a PhD. I always tell people if it wasn't for St. Louis County, I wouldn't be able to afford some of that tuition. So I'm happy to say that. So I had a good career, at St. Louis County, but a lot of judges, everyone, once they found out I was taking this position, everyone reached out to me and say, Nate, are you sure you want to go down to that city jail? I said, yeah, I'm sure. They said, you probably need to do a tour before you get down there. That place is crazy. I said, it'll be all right. St. Louis County wasn't that great when I took over in 2022 as deputy director. I had a lot of work to do there also, so I'm saying that because I knew it was going to be a challenge when I first came. Today is my 30th day. I gave Director Days my 30-day report on what we've done so far. I feel like I was here for 6 months after I wrote that report. But yeah, we moving forward. I think we got great progress. The team is doing all the things I'm asking. Everyone is being on their best behavior, I would say. We had some, different things that was going on that it was addressed, and I see a lot of improvements. And I know we got a long way to go, and I'm here for the long haul. So I look forward to meeting each and every one of you guys. And Reverend Gray, like I said, when I met you in St. Louis County, we had a great conversation back then, and I know I'm looking forward to having more with you. So thanks everybody for inviting me. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Before you leave, I just want to extend to board members an opportunity to share with you. They may have a comment or a question if you have a couple of minutes. So I'll just open it to board members. If you have any questions or comments to our new CJC commissioner, please come off of mute, and if questions, comments. I don't see any hands raised. I would just simply say on behalf of the board, Commissioner, and people reached out to you and they told you, they asked you sure you want to go to CJC? Well, the oversight board was created because of issues that existed. I mean, we're talking about from the task force report, and we're almost James and myself and Miss Lewis Walls. We've been on the board now for over 3 years, over 3 years. So we've gone through it. We've toured the jail. We've talked to commissioners. We've had a chance to talk to staff and detainees, both current and former. We've had an opportunity to speak to family members who have expressed various concerns within the jail. And so we have a history. One of the things that the board highlighted probably more consistently than anything was accessibility. Not necessarily for board members, but for staff. We continued, well, let me just say this. It was a continuous struggle up until probably the latter part of the former commissioner's tenure for staff to get access in order to follow up on complaints or concerns. In my conversations with you, you've made it very clear that you intend to work with the commissioner, intend to work with her staff to make sure that the staff are able to do their work. And as a board, we simply maintain that our position has been oversight. Never intended to manage the CJC, but our role simply stated that that we as a board are entrusted by ordinance to ensure that the health and safety and welfare and rights of the detainees are adhered to, and that everyone in the building, detainees and staff included, that they're in a safe and healthy environment. So that's been the position of the board from day one. I'm sure, unless any of the board members correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure that will be their mission and their motive moving forward. Have you had it? And I know it's only been 30 days. I know you've had a chance to talk to the commissioner, and have heard the issue of access. Do you have at this time a particular policy on accessibility for DFOB staff? Have you had an opportunity to give any thought to that? And if so, what will be your policy regarding access to staff to allow them to do their jobs?
Well, Reverend Gray, just to let you know, after meeting with the commissioner last week, I reached out to legal on some of the things we discussed, and they supposed to get back with me this week on some of the questions that they asked me about. And I'm gonna get back with the commissioner on what they, inform me about. But me myself, I just want to do the right thing. I want this place to be successful. So all the help I could get to make CJC successful, I'm willing to accept it. I'm willing to get anyone that want to come in and help us get this place successful. Just to let you know, I done reached out to some of my old co-workers that retired, and was in leadership roles. And I'm trying to get people to apply to come down here to help us get this place successful. So I'm open, and once I get the confirmation back from legal on some of the things that the commission spoke about, I'm gonna get with her and we're gonna move forward with what they recommended. So just to, I know that your question, I just want to let you know where we stand with that.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Commissioner. Any other board members before we move on with the agenda? I know that the commissioner is on a tight schedule. You are more than welcome to sit in on the meeting as long as you like, but we know that if you have to leave, we understand that as well. I'm sorry, Board Member Harper, did you have a question?
No, I just wanted to thank him for coming in and stepping up to the role. Also wanted to reiterate, I sent you an email about a week ago.
Okay.
And I am still waiting on a reply.
What's your last name?
It's Harper, H-A-R-P as in Patrick, E-R.
Yeah, was Miss Deputy Commissioner Ross on that email?
Let me double check.
Yeah, because usually she been answering all the emails coming through.
Okay.
And while you waiting on that, I just want to let Reverend Gray know also, several residents, when I first arrived my first week here, while I was conducting the tour, several of them knew me from the county. They was pretty excited to see me here. They know the work that I've done at St. Louis County. So they're excited. And we have a lot of plans that I'm working on right now. One of them is with the tablets. St. Louis County, everyone has tablets.
Mhm.
Here, they just have a few tablets in the housing unit, and that's why your fights are happening.
Mhm.
It causing a lot of problems. So I reached out to two different tablet companies. We got to do one more, before we could get quotes and then turn them in. When I did a tour today, several of the guys on the floors was asking me once again about the tablet. So that's one of my big goals right now, is get these guys what they need, and try to get them outside these cells more daytime. And I know we short, we were short in the county, but we made it work. And that's what I try to tell my staff here.
All right. Thank you so much. Board Member Harper, were you able to retrieve the document?
It looks like it was originally sent 10/2, and I did a follow-up actually yesterday. I did not
Get none from.
tag Miss Ross in it. I will CC her as well.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it. And I look forward to once I get off.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Commissioner.
All
Thank
right,
you, Board Member. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you very much.
All right. Take care.
You as well. Be safe.
All right. Thank you.
We will continue. I don't have any correspondence that I have received. I think that with the update on vacancies, I do know that the commissioner reached out to me regarding a couple of names of people who I knew had been interested previously, and I forwarded that information. Commissioner, do you have any update on DFOB vacancies?
We provided 3 names to the mayor's office. And of the 3 people, we have heard from one of them. We left a message for one of them. And it looks like one of the candidates, that recommendation is going to be moving forward.
Okay.
We'll get verification of that, but it looks like we may have one person, one of the 3, who will be
Okay.
coming onto the DFOB board.
Good, excellent. Thank you so much. And just to make sure, that's why I wanted to mention November 16th. Will you be communicating to the administration that my resignation will be effective on November 16th, just so that they know, just so that with that information, hopefully within the process, within the guidelines of the process, they might be able to expedite it so that the board continues to have its quorum. So I just wanted to just raise that as a concern. Action item for amended DFOB rules establishing a quorum. And so let me move to that.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes, please.
Do we, or are we allowed to know at this stage? I know that we kind of have, buckets in terms of representation on the board. Do we know the person who is moving forward, which bucket they would comprise?
That's a good question.
The
Do we know, Commissioner?
The categories that we have been informed of that need to be filled include a person who previously was incarcerated, a representative who is knowledgeable about corrections and jails and public safety. And there was one other, a health professional is the other opportunity for us to have a representative on the board. So those are 3 areas. The governing documents identify that we should have a board of 9 people, but you're going to hear more about that when we talk about the recommendation on the work document. But those are the 3 areas where we're seeking to fill.
Okay. All right. Board Member Gay, is that satisfactory?
Well, I was asking in terms of I know what the categories are, was trying to see if we knew which one this person who's moving forward would fall under.
I
Seems-
believe he would be considered in the health area.
Great, thanks.
Mm-hmm. Health
Okay,
and medical.
okay. Any other questions regarding the vacancies? All right. I believe all the board members have received. So Commissioner are we now looking at the proposed draft rules of the City of St. Louis Detention Facility Oversight Board? Is that what we're looking at now?
We are looking at the recommendation to change what a quorum is for DFOB, and I'm going to ask Ruby Bonner to discuss the recommendation. Actually, it was a recommendation that Director Gay provided at last month's meeting. And Answar, if you can, I believe you have the information about this quorum. If you do, about the quorum recommendation, can you pull that up on the screen, please?
Give me 1 second, I'm loading it now.
And as you're loading it, I wanted to ask Barbara, based on the ordinance, can this board change the quorum number based on the ordinance?
Yeah, it's actually your rules that you've adopted. You have set
Right.
the quorum at 5. Also,
Right.
defaulting to Robert's rules, the quorum would also be 5. So
Right.
if you make a rule in your bylaws, rules and procedures for having a majority of active members, that will trump the default to Robert's rules. Without a rule,
Okay.
it would still be 5.
Okay, majority of active members. Okay.
That is our vision statement. That is not the recommendation regarding the quorum. Ruby, can you speak to the quorum?
Yes, Answar, that is the suggested language for the quorum. Actually, the language that I asked that you pull up is language that Board Member Gay had recommended at the last meeting. Can you find it?
I got it.
There we go.
And while you're searching, Reverend Gray, I didn't say good evening, Reverend Gray and members of the
Good
board.
evening. Good evening. Good
Forgive
evening.
me, forgive me. That is not the correct item.
Yeah.
No.
See the recommended language in your menu, in your file, actually it's the last one showing in your file, recommended language for a quorum. And let me explain, we do have some recommended changes for the board to consider that will also encompass what we want to do. But we thought it would be better if we had the board make its motion to change the quorum before you considered amending your existing rules, because that will impact
Right.
whether or not you want to adopt the proposed rules under the commissioner's report. So this is the language. I believe it captures Board Member Gay's recommendation that he made. So I asked the chair and the board members to consider that language to see if that is what your motion wants to offer.
And I'm trying to expand it to kind of pinch out. It doesn't allow me to do that. So I can
Would you
read
like
it.
me to read it?
Yes, if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
Thank you.
The recommended language is, I move that the Detention Facilities Oversight Board procedural rules as amended October 24th, 2022, be further amended to change the established quorum from 5 members to a majority of the current and existing board members, except in instances where the Detention Facilities Oversight Board exercises its subpoena power pursuant to ordinance number 71749, section 4C, which requires the presence of 6 members to establish a quorum. And that was on the advice of our internal counsel, Board Burkett. The note down there is just some further information for the board as it considers the proposed amendment. And that is to simply remind the board, because there was no rule in its existing rules that provides for the percentage of membership needed to change or to amend its rules, we then default to Robert's Rules of Order, which requires a 2/3 vote. So I believe if you change the rule, if you accept the amendment to the existing members, which is 5 at this point, if my math is correct, the quorum would then be 3, and a 2/3 vote would be 3 1/3, I believe. Yes.
Okay.
So that was just that additional information at the bottom. It's not part of the suggested motion.
Okay. Board Member Gay, because you initiated this conversation, this action, do you have any comments? First of all, as it relates to the recommendation before us?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for revisiting this conversation and bringing together this recommended language. The reasoning for this, for folks that weren't here at the last meeting, obviously, currently we've been having, wanting to do the business of meeting as a board requires us to have quorum. Because we don't know what the timeline is with the Board of Aldermen and the mayor's office in terms of approving and bringing folks in. Not only that, but also then having to go through trainings, new board members. So I thought that this would allow us to continue to operate, even if we aren't a full board, so that we can continue to serve the public interest. So that was kind of my reasoning, because right now, if we're expecting to operate all the time under a 9-person board, realistically, we don't know when we will get a 9-person board, but this allows us to still be able to conduct business. I do appreciate as well the added, I know that we're not looking at that as part of the recommendation, but the added note on voting. I do still think we need, a mass of our board to vote. And so something like that, I think as a maybe a caveat or a placeholder to ensure that we are still, we're not just in a group of 3 making decisions for everyone, but we ensure that we still are including most of the board. Having that quorum designation, though, I do think allows us to have, some meetings that we've been passing off as informational ones because of that. If we're missing 1 person, we're not in quorum anymore.
Thank you so much. Let me ask you before we move to other board members, then even with the caveat, do you feel that the recommendation submitted by staff, do you feel that that's adequate enough for the purpose of conducting our meetings moving forward?
I do believe so, yes.
Okay. Other board members, questions, comments? All right. James, did you have I'm trying to, okay. Nope. Okay. Seeing that there are no other questions, comments, I agree with Board Member Gay. it just goes to the staff. I mean, y'all are just remarkable. What more can I say? So, Board Member Gates, since you were the one that initiated this conversation and this action, would you be so kind to make a motion that the board approve the recommendation regarding quorum made by the staff?
So moved.
Is there a seconder?
I second.
Okay, look, look at we can't have 3 seconders, can we? Okay, James, okay, Miss Lewis, well, I guess I'm just trying to make sure that one person doesn't do it all. Miss Lewis Walls, James and I are
Yes.
we're gonna yield to you as the seconder.
Okay.
Or let me ask, because James is on camera, maybe I should yield to James as the seconder.
All
right.
right.
I'm going to yield to James as the seconder. So it has been properly moved by Board Member Gay, seconded by Board Member Dom, that we approve the recommendation related to quorum for the board as presented by our staff. Do we need a Barbara? You know, I'm always leaning on you. Do we need a roll call vote for this?
I would take a roll call vote.
All right, then let's take a roll call vote. Board Member Harper. Yay or nay?
I move to pass.
Okay. Board Member Gay.
Yay.
Board Member Lewis Walls.
Yes.
Board Member Darn.
Yay.
Chairperson Gray. Yay. So it's unanimous. Oh, I'm sorry. All opposed? There are none. Thank you. I just don't want Barbara mad at me if I don't do this right. I don't want that calling later on today saying, now, you know, Reverend Gray. All right. So, Commissioner, that was the form. Okay, now we can go item number 8. We're moving pretty quick. CJC assessment information, investigator Miss Louisa Lyles.
First off, I say hello to everyone and welcome aboard, Commissioner Haywood. I had an opportunity to meet with him last week with Commissioner Mylan. And so we're looking forward to our investigative unit having an opportunity to assist them with upcoming investigations. I'm not going to go into no specific details because some of this information is confidential. So Barb, if I'm going down that path, please stop me. But in August, the 2 of our investigators, Investigator Cora Baker and Investigator Marco Lester, had an opportunity to do an assessment at one of the housing units at CJC. And when they did the assessment, we came up with several allegations that the detainees were basically stating that was an issue. So I'm going to give, like I said, allegations. So I'm going to read some of the categories. If that's okay, Barb?
So far, I don't hear anything that identifies a person.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure. And the categories fell under recreational issues, medical, use of telephone, abuse of authority, dietary needs, and not having access to the handbook. That information has been shared with Commissioner Haywood, and so that way, like he said earlier, this is nothing new to him, but he's also addressing those issues. I would like to also state that I want to have both of the investigators who did work on this project, because they went in on August the 13th and they went back on August the 20th. So I'd like for Cora Baker to have an opportunity to speak briefly as exactly the methodology they used when they went in on August the 13th.
You're
Baker.
on mute, Cora.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, and
Good
welcome
evening.
you, Deputy Commissioner Nathaniel Haywood. It's a pleasure to see and meet you. The methodology of the Justice Center assessment program was conducted. The first one was conducted on August 13th, and we were welcome. We were welcomed into the jail, welcomed by former Commissioner Bears, as well as our Deputy Commissioner Ross. We did an assessment of one of the units, which was 4 Bravo. And we were able to talk with all of the detainees that was remanded in that unit. It went very well. We didn't have no incidents. The mental health doctor, as well as the medical doctor, as well as the kitchen staff, as well as the Deputy Commissioner Ross and the Commissioner Bears, the unit manager, Brock, and one of the caseworker, Barnes, was present while we were there, while we was able to speak to each and every one. They were able to use the phone. They was fed in a timely manner. They got to shower and clean themselves. So I know they small in numbers over there, but it was a team. The team all came together and we all assisted. They were given underwear, writing material, and their behavior was minimized. After we left there, we did a follow-up.
Okay, Cora,
On-
I know you're, I'm trying to make this brief.
okay.
I know Cora can talk for a while because Cora's been there she was a captain there for 20 plus years and working in corrections. But I want to give the other investigator, Marco Lester, to speak about what his observations and what his takeaways from that assessment. Marco? Thank you.
Okay, I don't know. I didn't see this in advance. I don't know.
No, I don't want this being shown. I don't want that to be shown.
Okay.
I just want Marco to, Marco, are you there? Oh, well, he may not be there, but I'll just finish up on that. Basically, they did go back in on the 20th.
Can
You
you hear
there?
me?
Oh, yeah, now I can hear you. Speak briefly on your takeaways from your
Okay.
opportunity to go inside CJC.
Yep. We were allowed access to the detainee's house in Fort Bravo. Unfeathered access to them. We did uh list take note of a lot of the complaints and things that they wanted to grieve about. And after our initial meeting, we went down. We talked to the provisional director Boris and Tammy Ross, and just as investigator Baker stated, while we were there, everyone came up and everyone was there, and it was kind of hands on. So after our initial visit, we went down and we debriefed with Tammy Ross and provisional director Boris, and then we were given the opportunity to come back a week later to the same housing unit, and we can acknowledge there were some changes and some improvements, and as Director Haywood said, stated as far as the need for additional staff, we were able to see them working with that and trying to affect the change. And so I can say that we did appreciate the opportunity to come in on two separate occasions, and the CJC staff did express that they appreciated us coming there, not just the detainees but the staff and also the command staff.
Thank you very much, Investigator Lester. I would like to say also that the information that we were able to gather from that assessment, our data analyst, Dotlin Bidesi, she will be generating an annual report and a little bit more detailed information about that that assessment will be in that report. So I appreciate the fact that no one's asking any questions at that time because it's, a lot of information is confidential.
Right.
Thank you.
Understood. Understood. Any comments, board members? Any comments? Questions that can be asked? And we do understand the confidentiality and the confidential nature of your visits and your investigations, and we understand that in this particular case. Um, is there a process, Ms. Lyles, as far as follow-up? You just indicated that from a general point of view, there were some concerns that were raised: recreation, medical health, handbook access. Are those things that you and the staff will be following up on?
Most definitely, and also like the Commissioner Haywood had stated earlier, that he was debriefed. He also received, although he was not there, he received that report as well. So therefore, there are some issues that he's already addressing. And the Commissioner Dr. Mylan and myself met with Commissioner Haywood last week, and we are working on developing policy and procedures that will give us an opportunity to go into the CJC. And so the legal staff is looking at our policy
Okay.
just to make sure we're in line and in order in accordance with the ordinance.
Okay. Thank you so much. As usual, tremendous job. We don't expect anything less from you. So thank you so much. Any board members have any questions?
I have a question before we move on from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know there's been a lot of transitioning going on, and we had the storm, amongst other things, but is there a date set for the next dorm rep meeting? And do we have a status update on the previous dorm rep meeting on the complaints?
We do not have an update on the next dorm rep meeting. And we do not have a report on the previous one. That's a report that the unit manager at CJC generates. We did not, at that time, we did not get any additional complaints. It was the same complaints we received in the past from previous ones saying the same thing about not having a handbook, not having access to showers. But as investigators Baker and Lester both stated that when they went into one housing unit, they could see a difference a week later. And so hopefully as things move forward, we have an opportunity to do that same process again. We're hoping that we can come with some type of format in which we can receive those complaints on a regular and consistent basis, if there are any. Our goal is to get it down to 0 complaints. And I think that's a good goal to strive for. And I think we can possibly get there.
If
I believe it is obtainable. Thank you.
If I may, just make a couple of statements. I really feel very good about the assessment that was provided by Investigator Cora and Investigator Marco. They met on that first day with 49 detainees.
Wow.
They have provided a very extensive analysis that not only identifies the complaint, but they also delve into what we understand are the policies and the procedures at the City Justice Center. I want to say that we have had very good support from the Public Safety Department, from the director, from the deputy director, and as it has been stated by Reverend Gray, Commissioner Hayward absolutely has an open door policy. Mayor Spencer made an unannounced visit at the City Justice Center. Board member Miss Lewis Walls was there, as well as Reverend Gray and the mayor and the public safety director. And there were other representatives there as well. So I feel that we are in a process of change that is going to be very beneficial to the detainees and the conditions that we know exist at the City Justice Center. If I may say, we're shifting from constraint to catalyst. Traditional investigative approaches concentrate on identifying blame and imposing penalties. And through processes like that, it can result in creating a culture of fear and resistance. Our contention is that we believe by using investigations that the investigations can be a catalyst for positive change that drives continuous improvement and reinforces organizational values. So we want to focus on solutions. We want to promote learning. We want to contribute to building trust. And all of this is involved as our office moves forward in having a more active role in the investigative inquiry process. We have responded and provided several different conceptualizations about what our role can look like. We are in the process now at looking at over 100 different complaints that we have received. Our staff is involved in using about 5 different data systems. We want to know where are the detainees. So from that process, then we will be following up, and we're getting closer to the point where we will have the assignment of the investigators to the City Justice Center. The commissioner has heard from me my viewpoint as it relates to how we look at the conditions, how we look at the complaints. We will have a discussion with the commissioner. We will provide the opportunity for the commissioner to be able to, the commissioner and his team, to respond to whatever findings that our investigators are going to identify. But again, we have to be outcome oriented. We have to look at this as we are the city of St. Louis. We all get our paychecks, the staff, from the city of St. Louis. So we have to be in a position where we are contributing in a proactive manner, as opposed to a manner that is going to be identifying things that we know that already exist. But what are we doing to address the challenges that the City Justice Center faces? So I wanted to state that we have really good information. Our staff is very committed, they're very involved, and they want to see this turnaround at the City Justice Center as much as I do. If I may, Reverend Gray, one of the members at our meeting this evening is Kalfani Marna. Please forgive me if I am not pronouncing your name correctly, but Kalfani works with Counselor Burkett, and he also is an attorney, and we have been in meetings with him. Through our process, we will be providing our documents to the law department. We want the law department to know what our complaint form looks like, what our investigative plan looks like, what our reporting template looks like. We want to be very proactive as we proceed to move forward in the analysis and responding to the complaints at the City Justice Center. So I hope you don't mind me making those comments, so you know that we are very involved at this point in time.
No, thank you very much, Commissioner. We appreciate the report, the CJC assessment. We appreciate your addition to that information. I know for myself as a board member, I mean, I think all of the board members understand the institution that we have oversight over. I don't think that any of us are naive about that. Like I said, when you have 100 complaints, we understand that some of those complaints are going to just be historic and traditional to being inside correctional institutions. We understand that, be it a jail or a prison or whatever, municipal, county, state, federal. I think that all of the board members understand that you are going to get complaints because you're going to get complaints. And some of them will be legitimate, and some of them will be frivolous, and some of them will be whatever other name you want to call it. So I think that we all understand that. I think that I believe for the staff and for the board members, when you talk about recreation, when you talk about medical, when you talk about health, when you talk about handbooks, at the end of the day, I believe that the staff and the board simply, as I said to Commissioner Haywood, wants to make sure that these detainees, 770 something, almost 800 detainees as of yesterday, that their rights are not violated, that we're providing as best we can as a city for their health and their safety, that procedures are followed, that protocol is followed, that policy is followed. That's our only job. That's it. And for board members who don't get a paycheck from the city and who are here representing citizens, we concur with what you're saying, that if we as an entity can help in preventing stuff, it is better off, not just for the city, it's better off for everybody. And so thank you for those comments. I know that I don't speak for every board member, but after almost 4 years, I know that from talking to every board member, that's just where we are. And I agree with you. We're turning a page, and that's a good thing. We're getting more information. I would say, James, we've gotten more information over the last 90 days, 120 days than we got in 3 years. More access than we've gotten in the last 3 years. So something's working. But the cases that, the complaints that are real and relevant and serious, and we're glad that you're there to investigate them, and we're glad that you have access, and we're glad that there is a process that's being developed to do that. And so thank you, staff, for that. We're at number 9, Commissioner's Report. I'm sorry, any other board members want to comment on the assessment information, CJC assessment information? Any other board members? All right. Commissioner's Report.
Thank you, Reverend Gray.
Yes, ma'am.
In regards to the vision statement, we began a process in February, and that process included providing a questionnaire that we contacted our alderpersons, we contacted our Civilian Oversight Board, as well as members of the Detention Facilities Oversight Board to respond to the questionnaire. There were about 8 different categories on the questionnaire. And then we compiled all of that information, and today we want to present to you a recommendation recognizing that the vision statement provides us a mental model of the future state for the Detention Facility Oversight Board, and certainly for our office. The vision recommendation is that the Division of Civilian Oversight envisions a city where trust, accountability, and transparency defines the relationship between corrections, law enforcement, and the community. Through independent oversight, policy recommendations, and meaningful public engagement, the Division of Civilian Oversight strives to enhance corrections, public safety, fairness, and justice in the St. Louis community. This is our recommendation for the vision statement. We're presenting it to you today. And we will also present it to the Civilian Oversight Board at their meeting next week. Depending on the outcome of your response to the recommendation, we hope that you can vote on it and we could take your decision to the Civilian Oversight Board meeting on next week before
Okay.
the vision statement is finalized.
All right. I think it's great. I think that people need something clear, something that is articulated in layman's terms. I think that there are a lot of people out there, Commissioner, who really don't know. They don't know. Okay, what is our mandate? What is the mandate of the DOC? What actually do y'all do? And so I think that this is extremely clear and concise and readable. I will open the floor to board members for questions and comments. You know, I had a drill sergeant in the Army, Sergeant Sapp, Jasper Sapp. I can't believe I remember that. That was in the early 70s. Some of you were not born yet. And he said to me, Commissioner, there should not be any questions because I think I made myself perfectly clear. That was my drill sergeant. Of course, who was gonna say anything back to your drill sergeant? I think that it's been clear. Any questions, comments from board members? Silence is consent. All right. Seeing that there is silence, and I'm supposing that that's consent. Is there a motion to? I'm trying to figure out the proper language for the motion to support. Is that proper? A motion to support the vision statement as it has been presented by staff? Barbara, can I get away with that? Motion to
That's
support?
fine. Is that what the commissioner is looking for? Or is that what?
Yes.
Yes.
Is that strong enough? Is that strong enough? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So board members, is there a motion to support the vision statement as it has been presented by staff?
So move. I second.
All right.
We're stepping on each other.
All right. Board member Dahl made the motion. Board member Lewis Wall seconded. And you've heard the motion. Are you ready for the question? All in favor? Do I need can I get a voice vote on this, Miss Barbara?
Sure.
All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you so much, board members. Barbara, I'm
Wonderful.
going to take you with me, Barbara, to my next chapter. I'll tell you when I'm not going to tell you what that chapter is yet, but I'm taking you to my next chapter. All right. Next on the agenda is it's still on you, Commissioner.
Yes,
you
it is.
You have the floor.
So the next item under my part of the agenda is related to the conflict of interest and also the confidentiality agreement. The DFOB procedures, and Ruby, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but the procedures did not identify conflict of interest, a form, or a procedure. And I am recommending that in addition to confidentiality, we should have conflict of interest. Essentially, the conflict of interest is when there is a financial association, either from related to the board or even with staff members. And if that is the situation where there is a perhaps a financial benefit, it may not even be with the board member or the staff person directly, but through their associations, perhaps serving on another board or engaged with another activity where that entity has a financial benefit, we need to have disclosure of the conflict of interest. Board members, of course, would have to abstain from voting or participating in a discussion where there is a conflict of interest. For staff members, we would expect that our staff would also, on an annual basis, not only provide a signed confidentiality agreement, but also sign a conflict of interest form and procedure. The document talks about conflict of interest and why it is important for an entity and organization to have a conflict of interest policy. And also it describes what the steps are to be taken. For a board member, the board member would simply communicate to the board chairperson or communicate to me that we have this situation. And then for the record of a meeting, we would make that notation that the individual abstained. For staff members, it could be a different type of situation in which we could not assign an investigator involved in investigation inquiry if there was a relationship that had an association related to financials. So we are recommending that we provide a conflict of interest form and procedure as part of our organization that would be signed by both board members and also staff members. I believe in your packet of materials, you received the conflict of interest form and procedure, as well as the confidentiality agreement. I think the board and certainly our staff understands the regards as it relates to information, as it relates to materials, that we have to exercise not only due diligence, but respecting the privacy of individuals and or very important intellectual assets that the organization may have as it relates to confidentiality. For instance, the assessment that our staff provided identified individuals, and then we said, nope, we can't have the names of the individuals. Let's just look at another way that we can identify the detainees at the City Justice Center. Internally, we know what the names are, but in reporting, we would only disclose the individuals by an oversight board number, or through our case management system. There is also a number that is attributed to individuals in which we are working with. So I am suggesting to the board tonight 2 action items related to confidentiality and also conflict of interest.
I have a question, and Barbara, and I'm not sure because it's been so long. James, we went through this training so long ago. Were we required to do training on confidentiality and conflict of interest? Was that part of our training package?
At one time, I don't know if everyone has done that. I know when you're signing that confidentiality, you're saying you've done it. So if you haven't done it, I mean, that would be the time for someone to speak up. Also, I know, Commissioner, I provided you with an alternate conflict of interest document that I don't know if anybody had a chance to see, but I want to make sure that that really is consistent with all of the other documents. And
so Barbara, thank you for mentioning that. We need to provide that recommendation on confidentiality to the board. That was not included in their packet.
Oh, okay.
Barbara provided a recommendation that associates the policy to ordinance requirements.
No, I actually provided an alternate conflict of interest.
Sure.
document though is different than the one you sent to the board?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
And it is correlated to ordinance requirements as well.
Okay.
If memory
Yeah, and
serves
that's,
right.
yeah. And
So
that's
we
why
will
I
send that,
asked.
we will send that form out to everyone. So you can't take action tonight
Yeah.
on this
Well,
recommendation.
no, let me ask you this so that we can expedite this. If the board has no objection to, I know we're saying in practice, we need a conflict of interest form and a confidentiality agreement form. The content of the form, the language of the form, obviously is going to be language that is going to have to be approved by the city council's office anyway. It's going to have to fit the ordinance and whatever the city council or recommendation is. And so let's just say, and that's why I asked James and Miss Anitha, as part of our training, I know that I signed I believe I signed a conflict of interest or confidentiality form. As a board member, I signed one somewhere
Yes,
along
I
the
think
way.
I did too.
yes.
Right. And so I think that as board members, particularly on this board, we know that we have to sign a conflict of interest form and we have to sign a confidentiality agreement and a non-disclosure. We understand that. I think that came with the initial orientation. So to expedite this so that we don't have to come back, could we just simply make a motion to authorize the staff to provide, in consultation with the city attorney, city councilor, a conflict of interest and a confidentiality agreement form? Can we just agree as a board to authorize you to do that? You determine in consultation with Barbara and lawyers what that looks like. And then once you give it to us, for those of us who haven't signed it, we signed it. Do we have to be involved in the language of it?
No, we have a very good recommendation from Barbara, and the confidentiality agreement already exists.
Right.
And we
So,
have
right.
that form that
Okay.
all the board
So-
members should have signed.
Yeah. So all we're doing is authorizing the staff in consultation with the city attorney to create a conflict of interest and a confidentiality agreement form. That's all we're doing. Can we do that? And that'll expedite it. We don't have to come back.
Good.
Board members, any objection to that? Lord, I love it when things work together. So can we get a motion from one? Hey, listen, watch this. Can we get a motion from a board member not named James or Neitha? No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. You know, when you audit stuff, I used to think that audit was about money. A lot of times when people audit your organizations, they're auditing the process. So I want to make sure that when we get audited years from now, they know that we were a very open process and everybody participated. So I can't tell anybody who to make the motion. I was just joking. But can we get a motion from a board member and a seconder that we would authorize the staff to create a conflict of interest form and a confidentiality agreement form in consultation with the city attorney's office? Is there a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved by board member Gay and seconded by,
Second.
and seconded by board member Harper. You heard the motion and ready for the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed, nay. Motion carries. See how quick? That's how we do
Wonderful.
things at DFOB. That's how DFOB handles stuff.
That
You
works.
tell the other boards and commissions in the city, they need to tune in. All
We-
right, I think we're on, are we on D?
We were on E.
Or on E?
And-
Excellent.
We received notification from Barbara about ordinance 71994, which requires that our board procedures are in conformity with a city template. And Ruby, can you present that document?
Yes.
Is that something we can pull up on the screen?
Yes, we did send a copy out, however, the version that the board received with the notice has been corrected and revised, and this has been in consultation with our internal counsel, Barb Burkett. So she had some modifications after the initial draft was sent out to the board. Oswald, can you please bring up what we have now? That is the document entitled Proposed DFOB Model Rules. You should have it to share. It's a very long document, Reverend Grace, so I'm certainly I'm not going to go through it all. My experience is that this is
Well, let me ask this question, Miss Ruby, because I know I had a chance to look at it.
Okay.
Let me just ask, do board members have questions regarding, rather than going through it because it's been sent out, do board members have any questions to Ms. Bonner, Attorney Bonner?
I'm just saying that there were some changes from the
Okay.
one that was sent out, though.
Could you go over the change? All right, could you go over the changes and then we'll open it up for board
If we
members?
can
Okay,
get Oswald to share that document, I can just kind of
okay,
highlight what was changed. Thank
excellent.
you for helping me to know how to expedite it, though, Chairman Gray.
You know how we roll.
I do.
All right, so once it comes up, you have the floor.
Okay. I have been having some difficulties with the Zoom.
Yeah, me too.
We can't see that you have shared your screen.
Okay.
I'm not seeing it for mine. Are the board members seeing it?
Yeah, I've seen, but I
can see it.
I can't zoom it though. I can't enlarge it, but it's okay. As
I'm
long as
having
you're,
I'm having some challenges even seeing it. So I'm gonna look at my my draft and maybe just point out.
okay.
I
Okay.
think one of the most important things is that this document actually parallels completely the model rules. The commissioner wanted us to incorporate the ordinances and to parallel almost entirely the model rules, even though Barb told us we didn't have to use all of that. And certainly the rules that the board adopted back in October 24 did have, I think it met the requirements of the ordinance. The commissioner wanted it to be, more complete and more of a model pursuant to the ordinance that is requiring all boards and commissions comply with aspects of ordinance number 71994. And we have done that. So the quorum that you just voted on is incorporated in this document, that the quorum will perpetually be a majority of the current board, the existing board. So whenever there's a change, then your quorum doesn't have to be reestablished. I think that's a significant thing. But for the most part, it talks about the members and that parallels the ordinance and what's required, all of the categories that the commissioner referenced earlier in terms of vacancies. And so I don't need to point that out. There was, Barb and I did discuss one issue, and it had to do because we have Executive Order 79 that requires a specific notice period of 7 days for the meeting. We did do that in terms of the board's regular meetings. We intend to continue to give 7-day notices to the board, as well as the identified officials that receive notice of all of our meetings. And that, as you recall, Reverend Gray, came about so that the officials who requested stays of our investigations would be required after a period of time to appear before the board to justify any
Right.
continued time required for stays. I believe that's what the executive order intended with the 7-day notice. However, we have just given that notice in all cases of the regular meetings of the board. The other thing I would like for the board to pay attention to, though, is the flexibility that these rules grants the board in the event that it needs to have an emergency or special meeting that makes 7 days impractical or impossible, which is allowed within the Executive Order 79. So we did incorporate a shorter time period that was recommended by the model rules of, I believe, 72 hours.
Okay. Okay.
One other point, and Reverend Gray, you are exemplifying this as officiating the meeting, is that our meetings are conducted within Robert Rules of Order. And that was in the DFOB procedures, and it is also communicated in this new format.
Excellent. All right.
That will be the default if, unless there's a specific rule that you all have adopted, that will be the default.
Right. Okay. Being a former state senator, the only rules I know in governing meetings are Robert's Rules of Order. I don't know any other rules. Are there any questions? First of all, staff, thank you. This is extremely thorough. Very prepared. It actually continues to make it look like we know what we're doing. So thank you so much for that. Board members, any questions? The only, so it complies with the ordinance. It encompasses the procedures that the DFOB board members created 3 years ago. Does it conform to the executive order from the former administration? It conforms to that as well? Or does it necessarily need to apply? Because I know that in that 7-day, I know that the executive order that we received from the former administration was pretty spoke also to how we conduct business. And so this document conforms to all of that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. That was my only question.
Okay.
Any other board members? James, did you have a question?
I'm present.
Okay. Any other board members? Any questions? All right, seeing that there are no questions then, can we get a motion from the board to approve DFOB model rules presented by staff person, attorney extraordinaire, Ruby Bonner, Esquire?
I so
Get a
move.
motion? All right, been moved by Ms. Lewis Walls and seconded by? Seconded by Board Member Darm. You heard the motion, ready for the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you very much, Lord. We're getting through this. And now we are at the Commissioner's August and September monthly report that she is going to summarize for us.
Okay, you know, Reverend Gray, everyone has a copy of my report from September and in August. So I'm not going to go through those reports if that's okay. I will say that we did have our roundtable program, which was hosted by Harris Stowe State University. Harris Stowe not only circulated within the college, but they also had outreach to all historically Black colleges and
Wow.
universities in the country.
Amen.
We had more people online at the round table than we actually had in person, but our speakers were extraordinary. We had Blake Strode with Executive Director of Art City Defenders, Jesse Bogan, who is a journalist for the Marshall Project, and we had two of our investigators
Amen.
also as presenters. There was
Amen.
very good content from my perspective at the round table. So that is the information I want to bring to your attention, that next month's meeting is on Veterans Day, which is a
Oh,
holiday for city employees. So we won't be meeting on November the 11th. Is there another date oh, very good. We
thank,
celebrate all of our
thank you very much.
veterans.
Thank you very much.
We
Yeah.
celebrate all of our veterans.
I wanted to suggest only because and I will submit, I understand that I'm required to submit my resignation in writing. So I'll make sure I get that to you. And the 16th is on a Sunday. If board members, if we could meet either that Wednesday or Thursday, if that's possible, because that will be my last meeting before the 16th. And I know Barbara has a set day of the week that is, can we possibly meet either that Wednesday or Thursday of the same week, which would be the 12th or the 13th of
Yeah,
November?
either one. That's a Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Board
Well,
members, do you have a preference? Board members, the Wednesday or the Thursday? And is there a preference for you?
I prefer Wednesday.
Okay. Is that okay with other board members?
Should be
Because
fine.
I mean, yeah, so because we're still saying 5 o'clock. So 5 o'clock on November, I hope I don't get cut off. Okay.
November the 12th, which would
November
be
the 12th.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Great. November 12th. Excellent. And Commissioner, I'll get my letter over to you this week so that at least you have that.
Okay.
I want to ask one other question. It may not be doable. What is the possibility of doing the November 12th meeting in person, being that it would be my last board meeting?
That
Is
would
that
be
is that
great.
doable?
Yes.
Can we
that would
work
be
on that?
great. Yes.
Okay. I'll leave that to you, Commissioner. Board members, first of all, let me go back. Board members, would you be okay with doing that November 12th meeting in person? It's my last one. I mean, I'll bring some milk and cookies but hey, James, that's cold. That's cold, James. That's cold. Yeah. I really would love to have an opportunity to celebrate with all of you the time that I have been blessed to share with you on this board. And doing it virtually. I mean, like I said, it's been almost 4 years, James.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, it's been almost 4 years. That's a long time. That is a long time. So Commissioner, if we could try to arrange that, I would personally appreciate it.
We'll make it happen, sir.
All right. We are now at public comments. Anwan, do we have anyone who wishes to be heard for public comments? We would ask that. Okay. So I'll say public comments going once, public comments going twice. We do have one hand up. Ms. Webb. Could we unmute Ms. Webb? You have 3 minutes, Ms. Webb, if you'll just state your name for us. And you have 3 minutes after that.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's Mary Lou Webb. And I have a few questions. One is, if someone does fill out a serious, real, and relevant complaint, and they are moved, you still go through with that. You do not forget them, right?
That is correct. Commissioner, correct me if I'm wrong. When we have the complaints, Commissioner or Miss Louisa, as long as that complaint is in, even though they're moved, we still follow through with that complaint. Am I right or wrong?
That's correct.
Okay.
So what about, now you said something about lawsuits, you don't go and talk to them. It still
Chair,
happened.
I will just remind, this is a public comment program, so it's up to you about, entertaining.
I'm just saying, if there
Okay.
is a
Well,
lawsuit at some point, does it stop you guys from doing what you're doing? Because the events had still happened.
Okay. I'll yield to, the question is that once a complaint has been filed, if there is a lawsuit, does the complaint continue? I'm going to yield to the commissioner or to Barbara to answer that question, because that's more of a legal question.
Okay.
All right.
Actually, I think it's kind of a procedural question, Reverend Gray.
Okay.
I will try and answer that.
Please.
As you know, there is a provision in our governing ordinances that allows for city councilor, circuit attorney, commissioner of police to request a stay. And typically they will do that if a matter is being litigated involving a complaint. So we are required by ordinance to honor that stay unless and until the requesting official lets us know that it's lifted.
Okay.
Does that help?
Does that help, Ms.
Okay.
Webb?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I also have another question.
Sure.
Well, two questions. Are you,
That's okay.
when someone fills out the complaint, have you guys read them yet? The board? I know the
No.
investigators have. No.
No, we only get to the, we're only able to review the complaint once it is presented to us by the staff.
Okay. And do you know the person's name, or is that confidential?
I
The-
would suspect if it is a confidential file, if we get a file, obviously when we see it, it's going to have all the information. We cannot make that information public. We can't talk about that information. We
Right.
receive that information in a closed setting or a confidential setting. But unless I am wrong, I would suspect that if the board gets a complaint, that we would have all of the information, including the information, the name of the complainant on that file.
Okay. So nothing would be redacted then?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
No.
Okay. That's
And
all I
Ms.
wanted
Webb,
to know.
I want to,
Yeah.
and I want to thank you. I'm going to say this, and because this will be my you've been consistent. You've attended most of our meetings. You've always been respectful. You've been responsible. You're committed to what you are committed to. And we've always, as a board, tried to make sure that we did not limit or restrict your voice or your time in any manner. And so we thank you for the way that you have come before us, and we hope that we've been able to provide you with the answers that you have sought. I know that not all of them, but we hope that we've been helpful to you.
You have, and I do appreciate it. And I know you give me more than 3 minutes.
Any other public comments? Are there any other public comments? Are there any other? All right, seeing none. Then any new business? Then we've already scheduled any new business. Let me just make sure I'm looking around to all the board members, seeing none, staff, any new business. And Commissioner, I hope I didn't try to minimize your report. I knew you were going to give us the highlights. I thought about that after I said it. I in no way try to minimize. I read your reports. Thank you so much. But there may be something that the public might need to know because the board members get to read your report. The
Yes.
public doesn't. So please, if there's anything that you need to highlight, always know, because I don't want that call from you later on either.
You know, I will point out that in my September report, I identified that our office provided a proposal for our investigator assignments at the City Justice Center. The benefits would be to improve communication, enhance operational efficiency, leveraging specialized expertise, and increased support for the City Justice Center operations. So that's something the public would probably be interested to know, but I'm certainly willing to share my reports with anyone.
All right. Thank you so much, Commissioner.
You're
And
welcome.
there are a lot of highlights. I mean, you're busy. You're getting the work done. You're extremely busy. I know that. Board members, since there is no new business, we've already scheduled our next meeting. Hopefully an in-person meeting for Wednesday, November 12th, 5 p.m. With that, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, motion has been made. Is there a seconder?
I second.
It's been probably moved to second. All in favor, say aye, aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
nay. There are no nays. Motion carries. Thank you all so much. Wonderful meeting. Looking forward to seeing everybody, God willing, on November 12th. Everybody have a very pleasant night. God bless you.
Thank you,
Take
Reverend
care.
Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.